Hey, crypto media friends, welcome to another overtime show. A little different overtime show because we are still in Blackmagic design limbo. Blackmagic's A10 Mini Pro died on us a couple episodes ago, as you may have saw, live in front of us. And I just haven't been able to get a replacement, and who has time for customer service, especially with, companies as they are these days. They just want to sell you the thing and move on and create a bunch of waste for the world. And I've been trying to do my due diligence and see if it can be resuscitated in some way, instead of just trashing it, or you're not going to send it back and then it's an ugly state of affairs. But we're going to talk today about Ey3K0N. And Ey3K0N is interesting because they seem to be doing everything right, and it's just an interesting project to examine right now in this space. They seem to have gotten the playbook from about 9 months ago and are really applying it, and they're doing well. This is the thing, is like they are succeeding in marketing and all these great things. Maybe it's just, everyone keeps saying, oh, it's a bear market. Maybe it's because they're in a bear market. Maybe it's because their mint price is 0.23 Ethereum, which, with today's Ethereum price at about 1680, is somewhat probably, relatively lower than I think, that they thought it was going to be, because, if you're going after, 10,000 PFPs as they are and slash were, we're going to talk about that. They're looking to raise, probably at that time, they're probably looking to raise $3 million. But, as the price changed and a lot of these things, began to happen, they started looking at, okay, well, how can we essentially double that? And it's sorry, bad math on my part. It's actually 0.23. So, they were going after a good $5 million raise here. And, I think they got the team to do it as well. I think they looked at how to attack this space, and let's try and check out the team, because the team, if you look at it, if we're going by these rules of, again, looking at the playbook of like, okay, what is this about? Is this, IP that can be seen in other media? Is this, a world that you can generate a lot of stories on? Check. The art is great. It is a style that hasn't been doing amazing. It's this very, very 2D style, and it's, we've seen it. It's just this quasi comic book style, and I just haven't seen it do well. That's just a personal hot take. Hit me in the comments section with ones that have been doing well, because that was just, it sort of looked like one that I actually bought into very haphazardly, and I saw that their gamification was just really too deep, and they wanted you to have 8 players, and they wanted you to really have it's just a soccer team. It was kind of interesting doing sort of this 11 on 11, but with, I don't know, it was so convoluted. Partly it was that, but partly it was, I think the art, it was cool and it looked like this, but it just wasn't taking off in terms of collectability. And so I think that that's part of the problem here. There just seems to be too many artifacts of a playbook from months ago, and sure, get the squad, because it is quite impressive. Adam Polina, visual storytelling, cross medium designer, DC, Marvel, EA Sports. This is the thing. They everybody's doing this now. They're putting all of these great names, and I'll probably be crucified for doing this as well. But you put all these great names, and I try and be as clear in terms of my roles as possible. But Jesse McMillan was not the creative director for Nike, creative director for Virgin, creative director for Lyft. He served in as creative directing roles in that departments for all those. And so it's slightly disingenuous. I know they're trying to be brief, and but they're really just, it's interesting, the difference between Los Angeles and San Francisco is when you come to Los Angeles, This is how people introduce themselves. I'm the creative director for Nike and Virgin and Lyft. They want to hit you with the big names. They want to hit you with the big title and sort of puff up their self-importance. Whereas the actual duties, if you got into them, probably aren't all that. And if you, to be fucking frank, but if you go up to like, San Francisco, it becomes much more of a, oh, hey, like, we're, working on, it's very much more modest, we're working on, X and it's going to save the world in some way. But, I think the puffery that you find in Hollywood and Los Angeles is pungent here. And again, this is no fun on this project. I think this is a really great project, to be honest. It's just, we got to really look at why it's not working. And they have to be very self-reflective at this moment. And I think they have been, because this is a smart team. This is a really great team. In this space, this is an A-plus team. And so, you have a lot of really great creatives. A game designer, I had a nice chat with David Acton. These guys are a little beat up because they've been pushing hard for the past, 3 months. And they're hitting mints, and the mints hasn't been going well. They tried to do a bit of a dangerous play by not doing an immediate mint that sort of was super in a moment and hyped, and they tried to span it out and save the people gas fees. Again, it's a great playbook from if you're going to do a mint like this from a few months ago to try and save people gas. It's the thing to do. It was the thing to do. It still is. Or unless you just go on Solana. But if you're going on ETH, you kind of want to save people the grief of gas. And so, do due diligence. I never really give financial advice on this channel. I just want to look at why things are working, why things aren't working in the space, and the advisors are really amazing. And, in terms of blockchain and storytelling and IP development, this is a really, really great team. And they're trying to communicate to you, we're going to build a franchise here. We're going to build something that's very, I'm getting Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, right? And so they want to communicate to you that they're going to build this really great world, and that's awesome. And, I really got interested. You start looking at the numbers. I think, the tertiary sort of reviews of projects, you kind of quickly get an assessment of how popular something is going to be during a mint. And so around mint time, I got wind of it, and I was like, okay, cool. I was actually looking at it around when it started to pre-mint, and I was like, okay, cool. This is a mint coming up. Art's fantastic. Check. Check minus for me because just that sort of style isn't quite working yet. Isn't in vogue, I'll say. It'll come around surely, but the idea of this team, you're like, okay, that's now an absolute plus. So let's get into the Discord. Let's get into the numbers in the Discord. Get into the numbers in the Twitter, and you look at 50,000 followers on Twitter. Okay, amazing. You follow 10. Let's just note these very, very small things because they will add up here in this story. There's a disjointedness, right? When you're like, hey, we're in a space, and we're gonna follow 10 people, but we want everybody to follow us. This reeks of centralization. This reeks of Web 2, and but they're doing it well. To be honest, these guys started, and I went all the way to the beginning, guys. I really wanted to examine what happened in this. I don't want to say post-mortem. They're going to go on. They're going to do great things, but the mints didn't go as they had hoped. And so, you're looking at, maybe there's some value in that, but, they started off, I think, as much as every project does, these little mysterious teasers and, oh gosh, what is it? And, just peeks and glimpses at their art that, would help stimulate some interest. And, this was a big one. This was a great one. They did well to promote this one. And it got 114 views. This is like 2 or 3 days in. So, great work there. Keep an eye on our socials with first person, print off a complete image. So, and then they created these games, again, which is again in vogue, trying to create engagement. And they did a coloring book type of thing here, and just bring on and saying like, hey, this is we have Adam Polina, and it's that legitimizes, I think, any project when you have great talent that's well known and you bring it into the space. And you just okay, so this is building and building and building, and mind you, this is their proclaimed 50,000 followers. A lot of this might not be their fault. This inflated number. I myself on my Twitter, like and follow me at Minty Fresh Vibes on Twitter. But I would say like a good 30% are bots that hit me up every day, wanting to subscribe and follow. And for the most part, I kind of cancel them. I block them when they're obvious bots. And so, and the same kind of goes for the Discord. They have equal numbers in the Discord. And then so, I started feeling that sense of like, okay, they're being very, very, there's a specific sense here, and that's very centralized. They're very like, hey, we're heavy hitters. We're coming into this space, and you're gonna love this shit. This is gonna be the dopest thing you've ever seen, and I'm ready for it. I want it, and I think that that's super awesome. The thing is when you go to the Discord, I didn't get a sense of any community there. I got a sense of them saying they have. It seemed like it said 60-some thousand people in that Discord, and then I kind of check back at and then I do this. I check back to the Twitter, and you start looking at how many likes they're getting. If I had 50,000, mind you, they didn't have 50,000, but if I had a few thousand, and I'm sharing, and I have a team like that, and I'm sharing, and I'm only getting this amount of likes and actual engagement, there's a problem. There's something very significant about the treatment of audience, and I started feeling I was getting treated like an audience member, not a community member. So they're going to give me this thing. They're going to give me Adam Polina and Collywords and these huge heavy hitters, and I'm here for it. I'm like, hell yeah, like bring this stuff. And this game designer and like really great roll out of the team, and they even hit just the marketing team has been doing really well. They're giving the great sneak peeks, and then they eventually hit I guess they're quasi collabs with actual influencers in the Web 2 space. So they got a Paris Hilton, and they got Steve Aoki. I don't know if Aoki actually retweeted or anything, but I know Paris did, and that's huge. To have somebody like that who does a retweet and exposes your project. Here's the Paris one. Exposes your project. See, this is like a proper influencer exposure. You're getting hundreds, even though she has 12 million or so, 16.9 million followers. You're getting a large level of engagement. When you have somebody who gives you this retweet and or shares, your work, and obviously they worked hard to offer up, something to her so that she could share on social, and that's the game. And they're doing well at the game. They're hitting, these are home runs. A few months ago, I think more and more people now are a bit more savvy. Like, sadly, when they see poor Steve Aoki as part of a project, that's a problem. That means that they reached out to him. That means that they, may have been paying him, and that's all fair. But again, that's part of the Web 2 playbook, and it started just feeling very, very heavy. And when you got into that Discord, it was very heavy in terms of the investors and the sort of the flippers, and I just couldn't understand why if there was 60,000 some people in there, why they were so quiet. Everyone was very, very quiet in this Discord. Now, they might just be holding and are waiting for their day, because They only ended up doing 5,000 as the mint. They capped it because they were running for. I thought they were going to run till Sunday, it seemed, but they just kept the window open, and people were just getting really freaked out that the price was going below the mint price of 0.23 down here, and so it started almost getting kind of juicy. You're like, oh wow, save money on the mint, and so it was really getting down to 0.2, maybe 1.9. Maybe one or two of those sold, and so that started really freaking people out. Now they capped the mints, and upon that announcement, the price went up because there were just some proper floor sweeps. People were like, okay, they're capping, and you see this activity like this. This is this is like gem XYZ or something, and so you can see somebody is doing proper sweeping with those tools, and a handful here and there of just buyers. So you're like, amazing, good for them, and it shot up to 0.4, ostensibly thereby doubling their floor price within a matter of hours, and that's huge when you can do that. But it just also speaks to volume and volatility in this space. Now they don't have a lot outstanding, so that is again one of those things that checks the box. Like, tick, whoa. They have 108 items, guys. Any one of you can go and sweep this floor right now and almost literally double their floor price. This is a very, very thin floor because the supply is very, very low. But that's the thing, is the demands, bizarrely, is super, super low. I can't quite figure out why. Is it the art? They're doing their due diligence with the marketing, but without those big sweeps, these were as you can see here, three or four an hour, and so that's not going to eat through that floor price for a while, because people are going to get impatient. They're going to start listing, thinking that this isn't going as high as they can. Now, when you do all these things, though, you do give yourself this nice superficial look here, the upward trend, and I think that that's going to help them, because anybody who comes and looks at this, they think, oh, okay, great, we're on the rise, we're on the way up. It's just going to be a matter of volume. If they can kind of get this volume up, that's going to push up significantly. Zero financial advice ever here on the show, but this is just how the markets tend to go. And then once you have your release, people are going to drop a little to try and clear out some profits, and maybe go after a rare or two, and as they do that, then it kind of builds back up. But in a regular market, is this market so affected? Is this market so jaded right now that only things like free mints make sense for people at the moment? Like the ones we reviewed here on the show. And if you're holding a Gary P. Juice Goblin, congratulations. Thanks for watching the show. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Help me get to 1,000 followers. I'd like to just get to 1,000, and maybe just if I could have just cap it. I just I want a small group of you guys, because you're very smart who follow this channel, because you're very early, and you're looking for this information, and that's impressive to me, because there's so many people coming. This art is really cool, and I just can't fathom what's going on with this thing, to where, let's see if we can look at the Discord number. Sometimes when you click on it, it'll tell you. We'll let that load. Now, come on. Okay, 62,000 members, guys. If you really had 62,000 members, only 4,700 online. Yeah, man, there's just something uncannily off about this project. Are they doing well? Are they doing all the things that you're kind of supposed to do, like a professional presentation, killer website, amazing art? They're ticking a lot of the boxes, but it's just not landing, is it? It's not landing for the community, because I don't feel like that they feel that they're part of the community. And here's where I get sort of opportunistic myself, sure. You know, when I see great art and I see great talent and I see a low price, and I'm like, I start licking my chops around here. I go hang out in the Discord and I start looking around. I'm looking for community. I'm looking for people who, you know, want to make this and take this to the next level, because that to me is the sign of a good project. For me, is that there are people involved who want to make it a great project beyond just the heads of the project, and this one is a great one. And so I started asking around, and you know, one of the first things I ask about anyways, I ask about rights, and I start looking them up, and I try and find the document that tells you, you know, what rights you have. And this one doesn't give you any rights. This is one of the most sort of strict rights usages I've seen in this space. It's you know, it's not the worst, but it's definitely on there. It's similar. I don't want to say similar, but I just want to draw parallels again. Zero FUD here, but the projects that did do this, that were very strict, that didn't allow people to use their PFPs for whatever they wanted. They wanted to control their narrative of this project because it was that important to them, and that's fair, and I get it. But let's be very clear that this is exactly the Web 2.0 previous, you know, generation mindset of like, we're better than you, we know what we're doing, look at our team, fuck off, buy it and fuck off. This is what they're saying. Pardon my French, but I don't think that they understand that they're saying that. But it's clear when you look at like their engagement in the community of Twitter. They follow nobody, you follow them. The engagement level, you know, on Discord, kind of low, kind of like, you know, a lot of housekeeping. Again, it could just be the time, but it didn't feel like any mint room I had ever been in before. You know, when you have, I don't know, there was just something so off about the vibe of it that as soon as I started asking questions about, you know, the rights, and, you know, asking questions about like how they knew each other, you know, I really want to talk to the creators and, you know, make those connections. And, you know, sometimes, you know, they'll be honest and say like, yeah, we met on Clubhouse, like, you know, it was 6 weeks ago, and we made this project. I kind of respect that more than sort of the well, you know, like we kind of know each other through other friends, and, you know, we made this thing. And that's fair, and that's how these things come together. But it seems to me that I like to look at the relationship of the founders. Relationship of the founders has a significant impact on how it's a trickle-down theory, and I think that trickle-down doesn't work economically. I think it works in group settings and group dynamics. And, you know, when you have a functioning, you know, relationship at the top, that's going to kind of trickle down into like how they connect with other people, and how the other people are going to connect to each other. And so I was just like, okay, well, you know, trying to, you know, be positive and, you know, ask more questions, and you know, about the rights and stuff, and really was, you know, sort of, as I was reading through the documentation, it really is just saying like, you know, we understand, we are the professionals here, we are going to take this to the moon, you guys just buckle up in the back and we're going to drive you. And, you know, that therein lies sort of, you know, the hype train misnomer of media. If you think that this is going to get on any platform in under 4 years, you're on crack. It's like animation wise, it's, you know, this is pretty complex. You want to go live action, you're putting it out 7 years from now. So, you know, in terms of time cycle it takes to bring IP to broader media, just beyond the production, but, you know, the writing cycles, whether this is a television show, the writing it alone, you know, to get to a good quality level, takes a lot of time. And, you know, even if you quote unquote greenlight immediately, I don't know where you could, because you don't have any heavy hitters really involved with this that get things made in media, in a broader sense, in television and media. So I don't want to, you know, again, zero FUD. This is a great team. This team can take it there. They can get the meetings. They don't have the person to give you the green light for a studio movie. They have really great means to get those meetings, I'm sure, and get the meetings with the people that could. But again, I'm looking at timelines. So they're telling me we're going to take you to the moon, buckle up, getting back, and we're just going to sit here at the launch pad. And, I'm trying to look at the roadmap and really ascertain, what values they're offering. And I think we all don't want to take these too seriously and get into the point of belaboring roadmaps and because they're very interpretative, and they're like, oh yeah, we kind of did that, we did a game, and it's 8-bit, and it's very, very simple. And so I found, I was like, I think this is such a great team, I think that they're doing such a good job, but I feel like there's something this is why I'm investigating and why I'm talking about this to you guys, because there's something they're doing that is just purely inauthentic, and that's the way that they're presenting themselves, the way that they say that they're minting out, that they've minted out, they're like, yay, mint, like we did it, where is it, sold out. Like it's misleading, and it's like a salesman just really continually selling this image of purity and of wholesomeness and of no wrongdoing, no ability to wrongdo, in a sense, and again, that's somebody's job, over in the marketing department, and they're doing a hell of a job. So everybody's doing a great job on this thing. Just for me, I decided not to go in. And again, please do your own research, and there's zero FUD here. I think this is a great team and a great project, but I just kept getting communication as I'm hitting these checkoffs that we do here on the channel, that they don't want our engagement. They want us to fuck off. They want us to give them the 0.23, the $5 million. They're going to take care of it. They're going to create a game. They're going to generate enough buzz on an IP that they're going to make a movie that they've always wanted to make. And become icons of the creative industry and of sci-fi, and go to Comic-Con and be on panels and be the heroes that we all look up to in these industries and in these forums, but without us. Like, they just want to keep us as audience members, and that's the key definition here, guys. And I know these videos aren't super exciting. If you've gotten through this, I want to follow you. Please put in the comments section if you've made it to this point. Put your link to your channel. I'm gonna follow you on Twitter, because this takes patience and this takes time to learn. And it's not, when I do videos like this, it's very examining these things, these wins and these losses. Like, the last one, the Goblins, video everybody watched because the Goblins did well. I do, equally, I'm doing Icon because I think they're doing so many things well, but it's not hitting because of a fundamental belief that I have in this space, and something that I preach often here on the channel, and sort of boots on the ground when I'm at these things. And if you're going to NFT NYC, hit me up, and we'll hang. There's so many great opportunities for IRL meetups. NFT NYC is going to be absolutely amazing this year, guys. If you guys can make it out there, it's going to be a really, really amazing time. There's so many projects that are present and trying to make a splash because they understand the importance, as we've shown on this channel, of the IRLs at events like this and their ability to command attention. And so these are the projects, not one chance, but big chance to catch somebody, who just might happen to have a little bit of cheap ETH in your pockets. Markets obviously just really, really tough right now, and so I want to keep it light and want to keep it very, critical on, the execution of these things. Not just, again, the people doing this job are just doing so well. The art is good. The marketing is great. Like, they're hitting everything so well in the way that I feel like almost indie filmmakers want to show you how great they are and give us the money. I'm amazing. We're amazing. Give us the money. We're going to show you how amazing we are. there's nothing here about like, hey, like, there's a couple contests and like, please do a derivative and like, of my art and like, and these sort of things. But again, there's zero FUD here. I think they're doing a great job. They really are. It's just every time I sort of engage, I'm getting the sense that they just want my ETH and they just, chill out and, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's great for a lot of people. But in this market, it's not working. In a bear, they had to cut their mint from 10,000 to 5,000, but they have the audacity to say that they've sold, that they sold out. There's just no honesty about that. There isn't any, they're trying to get a pump here. They're trying to elicit your belief that you're going to go and you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, oh, hey, this is on an uptrend. Oh, I wonder why it's so low. That's interesting, but it's on an uptrend. That's cool. And get you to try and sweep. Do your own diligence. Do your own research, please. This is, my super hot take. This is the hottest of hot takes, but I do the due diligence to try and bring you guys not just the winners, not just the losers. I'm trying to look at who's doing interesting work in the space. This team is A+ in the space. The execution, really, really well done. I just think it harkens to a different era almost of what I think we're running away from in Web3 is, power to the artists and all this. And Adam, hats off to you. This is beautiful. But the rest of it just seems to be, hey, I'm here in the space, dude. Like, let's make it happen. Like, let's make me an icon. Yeah, I'm sure he kind of is, in his own right, and he's probably going to kill me at Comic-Con. But just much respect to the whole team. Again, 0 FUD here. I think they're doing an amazing job. Just the market, they can always point to this market and say, oh yeah, it's not working in the bear. With the pricing, that's a tough sell right now, 0.2 ETH. Versus, the free mints that are taking off and going to 14 ETH right now. It's a really tough market, and it's a tough ask right now to do a fundraise like this. I just wanted to use this as an example of why I personally didn't buy in, because of the notions I was getting at each one of the check marks that we do here on the channel, which is, the due diligence on each of these things. I just didn't find any room for myself, honestly, in this squad. It's like it's all really stacked with heavy hitters, and they have, they've told their story. So it's not like it's a link to their LinkedIn. They're again telling their version of the story. So to me, it lacks like a real honest connection to communities. Because if these are honest, I should be able to click on a LinkedIn and I will have connections to these people. I will have this ability to be like, oh, cool, like, except maybe this guy. straight up, I probably don't. Like, it's just hardcore software engineer, probably don't. But especially in media and in branding. And so you start to feel really disconnected when they're trying to give you their version of their story in a very isolated manner that, focuses you in on, what they want you to do, which is, mint and, the mints being a fundraise for them and, in this concept. And art is beautiful. It's a great one. I hope they do really well. And, I eat a bunch of crow for not having gotten in on point, just below mint at 0.2. And I will be. This will go up. I think when the art comes, I think the art's going to splash. I think the art will hit. I have no doubt that, the appreciation for this project will increase in time as they deliver. And so, do your own due diligence. This is zero financial advice. This is just an examination of the campaign, the art, and the play as creators in this space to identify what's working, what's not. And for me here, it's just, not desiring to spend the time in the space. you can do a couple months and cash in, back in the day. But I don't know if that plays anymore, and I don't know if bringing an old playbook, and when I say old, things that worked 3 months ago don't work today. When you're bringing playbooks like that to bear, it's probably not leading you where you want to go, right? You can't really plan these as far in advance as you'd like. And again, they did so great in getting all these elements together. I'm sure it took forever to get all these drawings and the art approved and everybody on the same page. But in that process, they fell behind the times. They fell behind the current messaging in this space, the current oeuvre in this space, and the current pricing in this space. And so it's just important, and a lesson for me that I'm taking away, and I'm just trying to share with you guys, that being current and being present in this space is important in so many ways. And in this way, it just seems so evident and stark that if you're not, you're gonna portray yourself and the project in a way that I'm sure you don't want to. I'm sure they have the best intentions, but this is the way that it's perceived. I'll find some other projects for you guys, and if not, I'm going to be seeing you guys soon at NFT NYC. I'll do a lot of meetups and hangouts, and try and bring you guys some of those clips as I try and do. And so please subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'm at a meager 500. You've seen way worse videos than this, and help me get to 1,000. And I'll see you the next time.